Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel on this beautiful Monday night. Ooh, it's been cold here in Switzerland. We're out today in it. Oh, man, it's crispy. It was minus 12 this morning Celsius and minus 1, let's see, probably about 10 o'clock lunchtime. Pretty cold day. Anyway, listen, I want to talk to you about lightening up your kit. A lot of people tend to, especially when you start off in hiking and outdoor activities, bushcraft, people tend to carry just too much stuff. Okay, that's why I recommend always the 10 essentials plus what you need depending on what activity you're going to do and how long you're going to do it. Okay, so I mean, when it comes to food, the way you can lighten up is to carry dehydrated food. When it comes to water, what you can do is if you're going to go to an area where there's water's plentiful, then you carry yourself a filter and then a bottle of water. And then as you drink the water down, refill. Okay. What I usually do is when I do that is as I come to water, I will drink all the water I can, and then I will refill all the water I can from that spot by filtering it. Of course, a filter weighs a lot less. Don't forget that here in the wintertime, you got to be careful with your filters, because they can freeze. Water can freeze them, it can expand, and it can damage them. So just be careful of that. What you can do is you can boil, but it's not too easy. Just roll up on a spot and boil it. But if you're camping out near water, you can do that. You can easily boil some water up and just let it cool down. Throw it inside your canteens and use it as you go along that way. Just pre-filter it. Get yourself some tissue or something like that, and pre-filter it into that way you're not putting in a lot of sediment and other crud, that kind of stuff. Like I said in a video before, when I was stationed in the Army, we were using water purification tablets, and somebody grabbed up all of our empty canteens, went down to the lake there at Camp McCall, filled them up full of water, came back, we put our tablets in, and he was drinking his back because you had to wait 30 minutes. And it's not that great of a taste, but he was drinking his back, and he spit out a couple of dead tadpoles. So you got to pre-filter a little bit, And if you're going to have that's why it's not too bad to have yourself a foldable or even a waterproof bag. You can take a waterproof bag out and just fill it up full of water, and from there you can take the water from it when you get back to camp. Just be careful, make sure it's solid, and this kind of stuff. But yeah, so let's continue on talking about lightening that load. That's why it's important also is that if you don't have the experience, then it's a little bit tough. If you have the experience and you know that before you leave, when you get back, you lay your stuff out, you clean it up, you let it air out a little bit, so it can dry out because it gathers humidity. And then you can see what you used, what you didn't use. Now, I think I heard a comment today from Ray Mears on a program I was watching that he said that the best thing to carry with you are the things that you don't need, as in that you left at home. I thought that was pretty good. So all the stuff you left at home is the best things to carry with you because you don't need them. Okay. Anyway, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So you can cut back on, like I said, cut back on the things that you don't need. The first aid kit, well, of course, that's the one thing that you will need with you. You need to carry a first aid kit. And of course, those ultralight hikers tend to really cut that down a whole lot to where it's really the minimum. The only problem with that is that you can, if you have an incident and you don't have what you need, then you can have some problems. That's also why knowledge is the more you have in your head, the less you got to carry on your back. So, but yeah, so lighten up that load. You can use lighter backpack, go with something a lot lighter. Lighter sleeping bag. But see, all this stuff is harder in the wintertime because in the wintertime you need a little bit more warmth. A lot of people like to run out with a blanket for winter. The problem with that is that you really need probably 3 to 4 wool blankets in the wintertime to really stay warm because you're going to have something on the ground, something above you. If there's a breeze, it makes it worse. Yeah, of course you can make yourself a nice little shelter, but you really need to protect yourself as much as possible, and have yourself some nice big 100% wool blankets. Now, there are some 80% wool blankets out there, and you probably won't see the difference between them and a 100% wool blanket, but there is a difference because there is either there's polyester or rayon or something like that. Probably not so much rayon, but polyester, that kind of stuff in it, or plastics or whatever. What you don't want is a copy of a wool blanket. That's all, and I've seen those very, very bad. They're cold to the touch. They feel wet. They're terrible, and they don't do anything for you. They don't insulate anything, So they're just heavy. But yeah, so you can cut back on some of the clothing that you're bringing. Now of course you're gonna need your layering system, but you can cut back on a few of those things. I don't suggest you cut back too much on socks, but you can decide, okay, I'm not going to take any camp shoes. I'm just going to use my hiking shoes around camp, and you can do that. Sleeping bag, you can get something a lot lighter, but like I said, again, you need to have something that's going to insulate you very well, and a good insulation system also from the ground, so that's important. Then it comes to all the extras, how are you going to cook? So you could actually get out there and just boil water over the fire, and leave a camping stove and all that kind of stuff at home, and then you can use dehydrated. That is probably the lightest way that you could go about it, just do it that way. But it really depends on how you're going to do it and what you're going to do and for how long, So all these things, they're all important. Like I said, don't carry a bunch of extra knives with you. I see people, I see their lists, and they've got 2, 3, 4 knives on them. You only need one fixed blade knife, and a saw comes in really good handy. Now, if you have an axe, that's going to be added weight, but you can leave the axe home if you have a good fixed blade knife that's a 6-inch blade, and have yourself a saw, because you can saw the branches, you can split them with another branch with your fixed blade knife, and that works just fantastic. You don't need more than that. Of course, it'll be a little more extra work, but you don't need more than that. Now, if you go with more people, the more people you go with, the less stuff you have to carry, because you can share some things. Like I said, for when it comes to your shelter, for example, you can all get up in that or build something together. You can have a long fire. You can build. You can get next to that fire. With a longer fire, maybe you can get with more people around you. You can go with maybe a lighter sleeping bag. I don't really suggest it going with too light a sleeping bag. But anyway, the thing about us as we get older, we need to carry. It's just too heavy. A lot of gear is, and we want to have that comfort. And of course, when you get out there, you want to be comfortable when you're out there. So just be aware of that. Also, I had a bunch of boys come in the shop one day and had a budget on what they needed, and they'd already burned off their food budget, and they were just trying to get a bag. I think they were looking for a sleeping bag because one of them didn't have one, so they came in and bought the cheapest one we had. It cost almost nothing. Luckily, it wasn't winter. But what it was, though, is that they had spent like $10 on food and $90 on beer. So they got all those heavy cans. Now, they're going to put these in transport bags, and they're going to transport them by hand to wherever they're going camping. They're not camping that far away, but far enough that they have to carry these things, probably up a trail or something like that. Here in Switzerland, we're lucky. A lot of people do a lot more cabin camping, this kind of stuff, and it's very nice. And I like going cabin camping where there's nothing, no electricity or anything. You just go in there and you got to bring all your lighting with you. It makes for a longer night and shorter days, especially in the wintertime. And it makes for a great time, especially if you're with a loved one or with family or with some buddies, that you can have a great time doing that. So, but you got to be careful. It also depends on what kind of camping you want to do, But if you're lightweight hiking, you want to do some hiking over several days, or go to a specific spot further out there, just be aware, count those kilos, count those grams, count those that weight, and look at everything you have and make sure that, do you really need it, Like I said, some things you'd be surprised that, like I said, you don't need, and you don't need a camping stove. You don't need but one spoon, you can eat out of the same cup that you boil the water in, this kind of stuff, And also, if you get dehydrated food, you pour the hot water inside that. So guess what? You can use the cup for boiling more water or this kind of stuff, When it comes to cleaning yourself, you can bring some wet wipes, or you can bring some of these dry wipes that expand. You throw them inside the water and they expand, and you can do that also in the evening or in the morning, and it's actually not too bad even if you go to the toilet. Bring some toilet paper with you, but it's good to, have some water there to clean yourself off. It's a lot better. It's a lot better just to clean yourself off with some soap and water, give yourself a little bath that way. It's not too bad either. And if you bring yourself, like I said, a small collapsible bowl or a collapsible well, I forget what bucket, then you can use that to make that work. So there are lots of things you can do. It takes, as you get get longer and longer into the experience, of camping and outdoor stuff, you find all these things and they come to you naturally, because it's just what, it's what happens, But like I said, it depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it and where you want to do it. Okay. And for how long. So anyway, listen, I hope that was, some good information for you. And, please, leave some comments down in the bottom. I really enjoy reading your comments, and, thumbs up, like, and share, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And listen, I hope you all have a good, the holidays are coming up. I hope you have a good time with your family kind of stuff. I'm hoping to go camping during the holidays also. By the way, I'm alone. That's the way life is sometimes. I do have my son coming in, but I don't know exactly what date. But hey, listen, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays and a New Year and all this kind of stuff. And I'll have some more videos coming up between now and then. But listen, I want to thank you guys for coming to the channel, and I hope you all have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.